Yeah. But no, season 9, we're at the penultimate episode of the mid-season break. We're at episode 7, Stradivarius, which I used to play.
That's right, Joe. You used to play violin. Did that violin look at all like a Stradivarius? What do you think?
No, yeah, it absolutely was a Stradivarius.
Okay.
I used to play an imitation Stradivarius because if you know the instrument, you know that that's a very expensive instrument, and my mother growing up couldn't afford the real deal. But it does have a slightly different sound than your standard fiddle. But I have used it as a fiddle too. So
you got the one that was made out of Teflon or graphite?
It was actually made out of old pirate wood from a pirate ship that was sunk.
Oh, really?
We dug. No, wait, that's a coffin on the Kaminsky method, which if you haven't seen on Netflix, I highly recommend it. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight. In fact, I would like to do a review of that.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit later on.
Yeah, I love it.
But no, this I actually enjoyed this episode. It's kind of a quieter episode. There were some zombie carnage moments, but it was kind of we always get new supporting characters, but whether or not they will become a regular part of the cast or whether or not they'll be killed is always up in the air. You know what I mean? Like these new characters, because Ben was talking about you made a good point about the sort of bonding moments. Yeah. I liked their bonding over the Stradivarius, hence the title. And Dan Fogler's his character's point of view about reforming society. I think out of all the new characters they've introduced, he's probably my favorite because I'm biased. I mean, I like him as an actor in Fanboys and Balls of Fury and of course the Fantastic Beasts movies. I think he's great. So
well, and his whole manifesto that he goes into an entire monologue about how important art is, and he references the caveman and all these things, and talks about how the Neanderthals and the humans and how they may have actually made peace with one another rather than war,
right? And
that actually music and art were those things that tie them together, which was really really cool. I was blown away. That's what you're referring to,
that's
right?
what cemented me as liking his character. That you've been stockpiling instruments, and he's just like, yeah, of course. And it is a shame what happens to the Stradivarius.
Yeah. It is a total shame. And speaking of collections and those type of things and archival things that talking about the past, history, art, etc. Jesus is listening to the Jesus and Mary Chain.
Yeah,
this
that
episode
cracked me up because I had actually been listening to not that album, but their 21 singles collection just 2 days before. And so as soon as that first guitar lick came on, I'm like, okay, now they're throwing out a musical selection I really dig. Just to have a Jesus and Mary Chain song, I think the last time I heard their songs in anything was Lost in Translation.
I've seen them live a couple of times. I saw them in Denver years and years ago.
Oh man. Yeah, I love those guys. They have a new album out.
They're playing that, and Jesus is listening to the records that were given to them by that one character who they introduced briefly last season. And so anyw's
apparently
cool.
She's got a really cool vinyl collection, which I would love to check out. So
once again there's this large separation between the two. They've been separate for a long time. Michonne hasn't been to Hilltop for a long time. She was completely unaware that Maggie had even left.
And they didn't even mention how long it's been since Maggie has left. And I imagine it's a myriad of issues. I imagine the fact that she didn't get her satisfaction with killing Negan because he's not the Negan she wanted to kill. Losing Rick, raising her kid. There's probably a number of reasons when they finally get back into her character. I'm sure we will find out. But I like how it's kind of a big mystery that things have really changed since the last time we saw these people.
So there's a moment with Sadiq playing, you know, a lot of musical instrument stuff going on here. Sadiq tries to say for a second, oh yeah, my mom told me, you know, when I was playing this for a while, but my mom told me that I was all of a sudden interested in something else. So a funny moment between him and Michonne.
I like how she approved, though, his acquiring of the flute instead of just like, put it back. No. Most people like music because it's one of the spices of life. And so I can only imagine in a situation like this, every now and then hearing some nice, beautiful sounds would be take a lot of that pressure off, right? A lot of that edge and stress. So,
well, playing music, as we all know, does help. It's very therapeutic. So between the one thing that I wanted to mention is, I because we have this giant, huge jump, and I didn't realize that we had to do it for specific reasons or whatever, I wouldn't mind seeing a flashback now and then just to explain some of these things, and they'll probably just explain it without a flashback, which is fine. I don't necessarily need. I wouldn't mind maybe one or two just kind of illustrating what happened with Maggie or whatever. Anyway,
well, we still have 9 episodes to go before the season's over. I have a feeling some of them will get a flashback at least. I'm sure they'll cover, hopefully they'll cover immediately what happened after Rick supposedly died, you know, and kind of, because it feels like that's where everyone started really splintering. So, yeah,
hopefully, you know, I bet we'll probably get it. That'll be probably Rick's first movie. Will be, you know, Rick arriving at his new destination or wherever he is. So, anyway.